I am Michelle Oliver here with Randy Hendrickson, as in every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. I guess it's 8 o'clock where you are, so you're up earlier. And we're excited to have you join us today for Expitality time. Good morning, Mr. Hendrickson.
Good morning, Ms. Oliver. Happy St. Patty's Day.
I know. Happy St. Patty's Day. So I'm going to kick this off really quick.
Yeah.
Because I was texting with you a bit this morning, and this is a very memorable day for me. Whoops, sorry. I have a phone call. It's a very memorable day for me because I believe it was 2016. I had a serendipitous interaction with a fellow at a coffee shop that wound up changing my life. And he became just an incredible business mentor and consequently a friend after that. And this is really, it relates to our topic of conversation today, which is really community, colleagues, mentorship, being surrounded by the people who lift you up, inspire you, annoy you enough to give you kind of a kick in the butt sometimes, because that happens too, and challenge you. It's really about community, but I really do want to dedicate this our conversation today to that gentleman, because I was never I remember when, like, this date has meaning until I met him. And that was one of the most annoying things I found about that person, is that everything always meant something, and I thought it was just a sad thing that it was like this man who was like living in his past, and oh my gosh, why do you remember when? Why aren't you just happy right now? And but now, as I get older, I understand.
So
the dates have meanings, and of course we bring meaning to them. But today actually is everyone's lucky day, because you will have something serendipitous and miraculous happen today if you open up and look for it. And it really is all about people. So I'm going to throw this over to you in just a second, but this particular gentleman, it seems like a random meeting, and it turned out to be a relationship that I leaned on, and no one else really knew about, because he was a very private person. So we would meet and have 4-hour conversations, and he would always say, meet me at this place, and he would treat me differently than I was being treated when I was building a business and in the trenches all the time. So he created this environment that similar to like a coaching environment, except much more magical. And we would discuss everything on the planet, and it would always come back to how can you apply this in your business today. And it was really a coaching scenario, honestly, when I look back. But these are the kinds of relationships in business that help us keep going when we think we can't, help us expand when we think we should contract. And in the world today, where there is a lot of contraction, I would vote that everyone push out and expand and take advantage of the opportunities that are there. So I'm going to throw this back to you to talk a little bit about, the alliance and mentorship and community.
Absolutely. Love that story. Everybody's got a person or people in their life, if they're so fortunate to run across them, that really do fundamentally shape them.
Yeah.
That's a great story. I'm going to call out my mentor by name if he should happen to listen to this. Doug Campbell is the man who taught me more about business. I worked for him for several years, and I actually got my start in the industry because of Doug Campbell. But more than just a friend, he was an absolute mentor. And every time we had a conversation, he would just slip in some little nugget that remains with me to this day. I can quote so many Dougisms to this day that this goes back into the mid 80s when I first met him. So people like that can change your life. You've had one or maybe several, and Doug Campbell
Oh,
was
yeah.
certainly mine. He altered the course of my life forever, and I'm blessed that that man was in my life. Um, yeah, when we're talking about the community thing, it's really interesting because when we talk about experiential hospitality, you and I often talk about the idea that there's this desire to get back into nature, to simplify, to pull away some of the madness of the world itself and experience a sense of community, either with friends or with people you just met, and just kind of share experiences and whatnot. And the thought that was kind of rolling around my head this morning is we've started this thing called the Experiential Experts Alliance, and anybody can and should go to experientialalliance.com. And where this came about was also a sense of community, because as you and I were getting Expitality going in the early days, we reached out to several really respected business people in the community, many of whom I've known for a very, very long time. And it began the genesis of, is there another way to serve one another and serve the industry? And hence the Experiential Experts Alliance. And this is not meant to be a shameless plug, but rather just it's a pivot, the guest experience. And then in the business world, there's a similar need for community. And I think that's what we're finding through the Alliance. In our first couple of meetings, everybody who's in the Alliance wants to share, wants to contribute, doesn't have the ego issue, wants to be of service to people and to help one another build businesses. That too is community and it's co-mentorship. We all learn from each other. You and I learn something every single day from our partners.
Yeah. I was thinking about the word alliance, and everyone is really unique and very different, but we do align in certain areas, right? Obviously, the interest in outdoor hospitality, experiential hospitality in particular, and really we're aligned with values and
Right.
not just interests. So it's so different. I think just when you're in business long enough and the kind of people that you want to work with, the kind of clients that you want to have, even it can go that far, that you kind of have this radar out for, okay, I connect with these people, we're aligned with integrity and responsibility, whatever your values are. And that is really what this group is. And it should be whoever your mentor is or your community or whatever. You're not going to agree, obviously, on everything, but just having that fundamental core connection regarding values is everything. And you feel it, right? You can really actually get over other conflicts when you have that underlying foundation. And it's so essential.
Well, yeah, and to your point, that the whole alignment was really so serendipitous in a way, because the alliance that we formed came together because of who these business people are as people, first and foremost, not what they did for a living, but who they are as people. To your point, values. And the real magic was, here's 12 people that had, some of whom knew each other, some of whom had never spoken before. And then all of a sudden the magic happened when we did that Zoom call and everybody was just talking about one another. And we realized, again, to your point, in that moment, these are people of purpose, of goodwill, of good faith, of good intention. And it's so fun, when you and I've been in business for a long time, and we're used to the competitive nature of business gobbling up business, or I've got to compete and beat, and that's what it's all about. Nothing wrong with being competitive in business. Everybody in the alliance is competitive in their business. However, the difference being, we want everybody in the group to be successful. We all applaud when one of us wins. It's not like, oh, I should have got that client. It's like, good for you. We're doing good stuff here. That's a real fun sense of community.
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting when a trending word like collaboration over competition or a
Yeah.
phrase becomes, it's like the essence of that, and it becomes real and you're actually experiencing it. It's a whole different thing. I know a lot of people talk about it, and there are times in my life where I've experienced that, and more often than not, I feel like I'm kind of inspiring everyone else to come this way,
Yes.
so it's real, which is great, and I'm good at it and I like that. But to be in a group of people who are all like that,
Right.
and it becomes like the energy and the synergies and the connections and the creativity that can arise from that is really, really a splendid thing. I mean, and I think it does come from each person having confidence already in themselves and in their business, and they
Hmm.
know what they can contribute. So it's not so much like proving something, it's expressing and
Yes.
sharing and creating, and you just feel the energy well up with these projects. So it's so great, and it's such a gift to whomever comes within the proximity of what's happening.
Well, and speaking of which, that's another part of community that is really exciting, I think, to everybody who's a member of the Alliance. And I know this is going to sound like a commercial again, but it's really intended just to talk about mentorship and help. So, for as long as I've been around the industry, I've seen so many people come into the industry and they'll have a question, rightly so, they're going to have a ton of questions. Who should I
Yeah.
talk to about this? So I would say you should talk to so and so, or I can help you with this, or something like that. But it just dawned on all of us as a collective, as a group within the Alliance, that wouldn't it be a good thing to kind of pay forward some of the things we've learned along the way. Ergo, we have a spot on our website where somebody who wants to buy or develop or expand their existing operation can literally upload their plans with a confidentiality agreement, and all of the experts in this group will have a chance to review, to mentor, to give advice, to say, avoid this and make sure you take care of that. And that's a way of the entire Alliance giving back to the industry that we all love so much. And
Mhm.
of course, if one of the people bringing forth their project needs some of the services of the people within the group, of course, that's great. That's part of business. But the intention, back to intention, was about, we all got together because we're good people first and foremost. We all want to give back. We all want to be of service. We all want each other to succeed. And anybody coming into this space, we want you to succeed too. Take advantage of mentorship. Get some free advice. It's free advice from some of the best minds in the biz.
I can't
It's
even believe,
fun.
I know, I can't even believe we're doing it actually.
I know.
There are a lot of really large organizations that are wonderful, that serve a purpose and a place. And I think what we're doing is so unique because it's a very small but focused group. And honestly, we can't guarantee that everyone is going to be free to at that moment when you submit to put information in, but everyone has been in the industry for so long. There's so much knowledge. It's unreal. And it's expanding because what's happened is like this little group of people becomes a mastermind unto itself. So
Mhm.
we, like, to your point, we are learning so much every day,
Every
just our own conversations, and then pouring that out to you. So yeah, it's a tremendous opportunity for anyone that is wanting to dip their toe in the water, or they just want to expand on whatever they're doing in hospitality of any kind. Could be anything, covers a lot of area.
And what's also funny, you and I've talked about this before, but when the Alliance came together, I hope I don't embarrass any of our partners who's going to be listening to this, but it's almost like we craved this as much as they craved it. when we first presented the idea, the other folks said, that really sounds like a good idea. I'd like to do something. Let's go ahead and try that. Let's go ahead and do that. It's like we
Yeah.
all wanted individually. We have our businesses. We've been successful. We've done this. We've done that. Then all of a sudden there's this community, again, back to community type of thing. And it's fun for all of us to share this business journey with each other. And
Mhm.
there's some people in our alliance that I've known for over 2 decades. And I'm learning stuff every day from them. You and I are getting mentored every day. We're sharing what we know with the rest as well. But I
Mhm.
feel like I'm going to school every day. And it's by hanging out with friends who know a lot more than I do about a lot of stuff. It's just fun.
I know it is. I'm going to come back to this gentleman that I had met on St. Patty's Day, which is why I was dedicating
Mhm,
this, because
mhm.
it was St. Patrick's Day. I'd forgotten. And I showed up at this coffee shop and I was having a meeting with a very contentious neighbor where we had a huge building project in the town, and anyone who's ever built anything anywhere knows about the locals. And it was kind of my first rodeo with that, so it never occurred to me that anyone would be negative or
Mm.
not supportive. And I showed up in all my, like, I mean, I was a different person there, but like overly bubbly and happy and excited. And I'm going to share this with them and enlighten them, and they're going to love this. And he was sitting behind me in all of his jaded wisdom. And, and so when you come to a project, very often, I think that's how we come as a new business, Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard, my gosh, the RV industry is where I want to be. I mean, high yields, and it seems so fun. I can be outside and people are on vacation. So that's all true.
Mhm.
And yet, having this 12 people who can bring
Yeah.
insight and experience and wisdom and systems and resources to you really does allow you to go on your merry way with your vision and your good energy, which you need, but to walk more circumspectly, I guess I could say, and
Mhm.
just make better decisions so you don't fall on your face and suffer. Like, it really does pave the way. It's an incredible opportunity.
It really is. I would love to have been exposed to something like this when I first came into the industry all these many years ago, because I just had to figure it out, which is great, the school of hard knocks. But if you can shorten that process, it's great. And
Yeah.
I was just thinking while you were talking there, I've told people in the past, firstly, if they say something like, I'd love to have an RV park when I retire, I just say, oh, no, 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 no. It's not retirement. You have to
Yeah.
be a psychiatrist, a plumber, a hostess, a concierge, a loss risk mitigator, a developer, a contractor. You've got to wear all these hats at all times. But that's kind of the joy of this, because
Yeah.
all those things that you got to be, they're sitting in a room. They're waiting to give you some help. You don't have to be all those things if you can learn from people who've done all those things.
Yes. Yes. And until you spend time to back to this kind of coaching culture,
Hmm.
which I come from, so I can't help thinking in those terms. But I've been, as you know, interviewing on Talk About TV, our members, and even those like, everything does truly come back to a conversation. Until you sit down and have a conversation with someone, you have no idea the breadth and depth of their knowledge. And I am astonished in each one of these interviews to discover how much people are bringing to the table.
Hmm.
I mean, don't miss out on this opportunity. This is a shameless plug now, because it's a shameless invitation. It's not like we're selling it. This is an invitation to come meet these people and put your dreams out on the table and get some advice and input and guidance.
Well, and actually, I feel a little bit better about kind of plugging it too, because we actually aren't selling anything because it's a free service.
I know.
Somebody submits their plan, we don't make a dime off that. If they hire
Don't
us to
tell
do
anyone.
something,
Yeah,
Right?
it's a secret.
If they hire any of the people to do services, then yes, but this is genuine benevolence come to light from business people of a similar heart to say, I want to give you some knowledge as well. There's avoid this and don't do that. And truthfully, a textbook will never teach you that. It's just not going to happen. If someone's been in the trenches and lived it and can tell you, I screwed this up, here's how I navigated past it, that's the education. That's the PhD right there. People who
Oh my
actually
gosh.
lived it for years, right?
Yes, and not just one person,
No,
all of
yes.
these people, which is even so, and we do need to hear things over and over again to
Yeah.
really get it. That's another conversation that I like to have every week. It seems like we always come back to this, but it really is so important. And again, I'm going to reiterate the coaching piece of this.
Yeah.
Think whatever you think of coaching as being, it's really being with another human being that can draw out of you what's possible, right? And then some mentorship thrown in and some strategic. I mean, you've got all these layers that people can bring to the table. Plus, everyone is just kind and
Right.
generous, and some of them are funny.
Most of them are funny. I'm the only
Some
one who's
are
not.
not. No,
I'm the only one who's not funny.
no, I'm totally joking. That was
I know.
supposed to be funny. I'll give you a
I
heads up.
know. I know. But and to your point again, I think if people hear a word over and over again, it loses value, it loses luster, something like that. And we've talked about it so many times that you hear the word coaching, you think, oh God, they're going to tell me what I need to be doing. Or they hear consulting, it's like, well, they think they know more than I do. So those words we end up defaulting to because they're a common language. But yeah, like you and I've talked about so many times, everything that all of us do in business is at some level a coaching relationship with guests, with staff, with customers, what have you. It's
Mhm.
consulting on a daily basis. So don't let the words scare you off when you hear coaching or consulting. They're just the default words you go back to. But to your point, your whole career in coaching, every day you coach, every day I coach, every day you consult, every day I consult. So they're not dirty words. They actually do mean something, each to their own definition, but it's all about teaching, sharing, and uplifting.
Yeah, and just like the word sales became a dirty word. Everybody sells, everybody markets. It's about communication. And that's why, for your convenience, we have created an entire new language,
Yeah, that's right.
Expitality. We really do try to do that just to help people pause and think about what the concept really is that we're trying to communicate. So we use words like experiential intelligence, and that just the word expitality. And we do talk abouts because it's about conversation. And you came up with the best term of all, which I'll let you say, in the world of AI.
Oh, applied intelligence.
Imagine if you applied the intelligence you have. And that to me is what coaching really is. It's like, here's the template. Now go be a happy, healthy individual, right? And then for, 6 years, you're calling your coach like, okay, well, I took 2 steps out of the house today. How do I get to step 3? It's
Yeah,
just like baby steps, and it's difficult for us to
yeah,
do the very things that we say are like the dream in our heart. This is my vision, but help
yeah.
me achieve it. So, and I do believe we're meant to work collectively. So here you go,
Yeah. I
everyone.
mean, 100%, 100%. But we're all stronger when we work together, right? The power of one can be a lonely place when you live inside your head and you've got these ideas and you can get stuck. Though the power of the many, the power of several coming together in a joint purpose to try to make sure somebody's successful. It's
Yeah,
fun and it's the best way you can assure your success. Leverage the best minds you can. If not
yeah,
ours, somebody else's, but reach out to people.
yeah, exactly. I agree. And on that beautiful note, that's what will make it your lucky day.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add to that? Because we do tend to want to talk forever about the things we care about.
I thought this was the 8-hour session we were doing this
No,
morning.
we're doing really well. It's actually 30 minutes.
That's good for us.
Yes, it's very good because we have people to serve and
We do.
a
Yeah.
lot of work going on, but we do extend this. It is a generous invitation from everyone in the Alliance. So on their behalf, here we are plugging this, not shamefully, but just full of hope for all of you. It's an incredible opportunity for you.
Absolutely.
So get lucky today.
And it's an honor to work with the great minds in this group. It's humbling, really, to such a great amount of people. Everybody's very busy, but everybody has the time to make sure someone else can get the hand they need, the advice they need. That's just what makes it such a joy. It's just a privilege. It's a real privilege that everybody wanted to come together this way. So
Yeah,
I'll stop talking.
I know this is the last thing I'll say, because I know you've known these people for years, but these are the kind of people that when you're around, when you're around people that you just know are already on the other side of where you might be striving to be.
100%.
And from that place, it's really easy to open your hand and be generous. When you're pushing and striving and like trying to figure it all out, it's not that you don't want to be generous, but oftentimes you're just not thinking about that. You're just trying to build.
Right.
So these people, yeah, it's quite remarkable, very humble, and once you get to know them, you'll be astonished like at how they can be so humble. But it's because they're on the other side of needing to prove it. And that's a beautiful group of people to be around.
Okay, I lied. I do have one more thing to throw onto that.
Okay.
I promise that'll be it. It just dawned on me, something you and I have talked about forever, and it's something you just spoke to right there. It is the quality of the people that are in the alliance that brought them together in this alliance. It's also the reason their individual businesses are successful, because of who they are as people first. Right. Yeah. Sometimes there's people, then there's what you do. There's me, then there's what I do. But everybody in this alliance has a very successful business because, firstly, of who they are as people. That's why they're successful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we also invite you to go to the YouTube channel. I think I've got 3 of those interviews up. And more will be coming, and you can go to the website. We'll post the website link below this video, and anyone can go check it out and get to know these people. You can reach out directly to them, or actually there's a formal way to submit your project. Do you want to talk about that really quickly? Yeah,
there's 2 ways to get us. So on experientialalliance.com, there's a regular contact button, much as any website would have. You just want to reach out for questions. But then there's also the page to submit your plans, where you can literally upload documents. And we take confidentiality very, very seriously. And anybody submitting their stuff should also. If they do not have a confidentiality agreement, we can provide a blanket confidentiality agreement. This just ensures somebody that their plans aren't going to get shopped around, distributed to somebody else, pirated for the ideas. Everything that we do in the Alliance is about confidentiality. So when you go to that upload page to submit your plans, make sure to include your confidentiality, or include in your notes within that, I need an executed confidentiality agreement before I can share, and we'll make that happen for you.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right. So on that note, have a wonderful St. Patty's Day, and go get lucky with whatever you're looking for today. And we'll be back next Friday. Ciao.
Yes, we will. Bye, y'all.